You're watching Byline Wilmington on CBS 10 WILM. Here's your host, Don Ansell.
Okay, we're back. Laura Padgett, Wilmington City Councilwoman, the longest-serving member on Wilmington City Council, I might add, is our guest this morning. So we were talking when we went to break about I think it's House 16, the Thomas Wright, now Sandra Spalding Hughes seat. You ran in a primary against Thomas Wright. Was it the last time he
2006.
2006. Mm-hmm. You considering a run for that?
No, actually, as you've said earlier, I've been appointed to the National League of Cities board. I don't think it's a good idea to ask to be on something like that and then turn around and abandon what you've just been appointed to. There's just a lot going on. There's still things in the city that I want to continue to work on.
We'll talk about that too,
yeah.
Transportation
yeah.
issues, because you've been a
yeah.
leader. And we'll talk about the National League of Cities as well. But I can't get over that 3 Democrats, Bozeman, Hughes, R.C. Souls, the longest serving
right.
member of the North Carolina Senate. We haven't even talked about that story, and we won't, because that's a whole other show. But they've declined to run again. Do you think there's an anti-incumbent sentiment among the voters?
Probably yes. And I think that's always too bad. I would like to say that hopefully it depends on the incumbent and what the incumbent has accomplished and the attitude and service that the incumbent might have. I guess to some extent in state seats and national seats, the perception from those seats may be that there's going to be some anti-incumbent sentiment with this next election year, this year's election. But that's too bad. You know, if somebody's not doing a good job, that's one thing. But just to get
fresh blood
gone, to have fresh blood, then you know you get a lot of inexperience with fresh blood too.
You've been in a leadership position on issues involving transportation
right.
for many years in various capacities. What's your take on the revelations about our state, or our region's state DOT board representative Lanny Wilson, and questionable donations to the campaign of Governor Easley, who appointed him?
Well, I think that's a separate issue from transportation. I think Lanny has done a super job as our state board representative. He has worked hard to get funding and appropriate planning and roads here that we needed, and so I think those are 2 separate issues.
But doesn't it look like he was appointed, good job aside, because he gave a lot of money to the governor and to the Democrats? That's the way politics work.
There's certainly a perception out there
yeah.
that's what happens. I think Governor Perdue has done a good job of appointing people to the current DOT, and I think Gene Conti is a great appointment as the Secretary of Transportation. And I think that all of us that are involved in transportation can see some major differences going on in how things are being done at the Department of Transportation. They're improvements, yes.
You do? You like the job Perdue is doing?
Yes, I do. I think she's doing a very good job in extremely challenging times.
Yes.
You know, she couldn't have gotten there at a tougher time. But I think she has been.
But it's also opportunities to shine.
It is. Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, you know, corporations, government, whatever. If you come in when things are down, there's no place to go but up. You hope. So you get seen as doing a good job. But I think she bona fide has done a good job. She's handled issues quickly. She has been dedicated to transparency. She's appointed a good board for transportation. They don't have any money, and that's the big issue.
Is she accessible? Has she been?
I think she pretty much is. I've seen her at a couple of events down here where she's taken time to come and speak to people. I haven't personally called on her, so I can't answer that question directly, but I feel like she would be if I did call. So I think the issue is that this part of the state for many years has been left out of some of the transportation formulas, and we need to make sure that that doesn't happen. And Lanny has done that as a DOT board.
And I'm going to skip over the Skyway. We'll go back to it because that's a huge issue.
It is.
But I do want to get to
yeah.
Your election to the board of directors of the
Okay.
National League of Cities.
Correct.
First of all, tell us about the National League of Cities, what it does and why it's important.
Well, the League represents about 19,000 cities across the country, and what I've found working through the Transportation Committee with the League and now with the League Board, it sounds trite to say that local elected officials are really the ones that are close to the people and where the rubber meets the road. But in actual fact, that's true. And I have had the opportunity to meet some really wonderful people from an amazing variety of backgrounds who are simply dedicated to serving their communities.
These are all locally elected officials like you?
These are all local elected officials like me. You have to be a mayor or a city council member
of 19,000 cities.
To be on the board. You can also be a city manager or a league director.
When you attended
Not a city manager, league
that
director.
meeting of the National League of Cities in
Right,
San
last
Antonio,
weekend. Oh, yes, in San Antonio, yes.
where you were elected.
Elected.
What were you hearing about the financial shape of other cities of similar size and makeup?
That they're really struggling.
Yeah,
Cities
everybody.
are having a very hard time, and unfortunately, the stimulus money hasn't gotten as efficiently to cities as
Wilmington
it
got quite a bit,
probably
though,
should
didn't
have.
it?
Not relatively speaking, no. The money went to the states and was divvied up by the states. North Carolina sort of got our fair share, but
So you have to go to the state for the federal stimulus
we
money.
have for transportation stimulus money. I was frankly disappointed. Only 9% of the stimulus money went to transportation. And in my opinion, I'm biased because I spent so much time thinking about transportation, but still, how people get around, their ability to get jobs and get to jobs, and kids to get where they're going, and after-school programs, and you know, everything really revolves around people being able to get around efficiently and affordably, and we're not there yet. And in my opinion, kind of like a New Deal, if more of the stimulus money had gone directly to transportation projects, we would have seen a quicker turnaround than we've seen.
We're going to take a break. We'll come back and talk more with Wilmington City Councilwoman Laura Padgett. When we come back, we'll talk about crime, what's happening in Wilmington, and how is it reflected among other cities at the meeting that she attended. Stay with us.